What's good, beautiful people? It's your main man, Big G, here on Industry Talk, and welcome to Primetime Pod, the hottest information resource outlet for all things entertainment, breaking news, celebrity interviews, and the hot topics of the day. Make sure to like, subscribe, and follow us on all social media platforms, our Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Snapchat, you name it, we're on it. Just Google us. Boss Talk Podcast 101, Primetime.
And he got prime time vibe. Make sure you check it
How? Why the fuck you think he missing? He say that.
out.
And sick would be a whole lot.
Now I'm not trying to get a little messy with you.
Time is money.
They go trap.
Yes, indeed. What's good? What's good, beautiful people? It's your main man, Big G, and we are all the way live. You know we all the way live, but look, today I got a special guest in the building. He didn't even know he was going live with me today. That's just how special he is. God doggone. He didn't even know we were going live today. I tricked him, everybody, ladies and gentlemen. I tricked him. Straight out the 305 Dade County, Mr. D's. I mean, he's dubbed himself as the best videographer, video maker. They always call me when I go live on the planet. What's going on, Brother D's?
What's up, bro? How you doing?
I'm good, man. I hate to throw you in the hot water like this, but I had to do it because I love you. You know what I'm saying? You know, maybe we made a great connection this weekend. Sitting down with our brother Keith Wallace 305 on IG for all of you who don't know. And make sure you go follow him. So talk to me, man. Give me a little insight about what took place this weekend, man.
Oh no, we
From your perspective.
we had a great team meeting. Got to meet with a lot of people who are a part of Keith Wallace's team and putting together a lot of projects for him, changing up his content, his marketing, talking about the products that he'll be bringing out soon. So we had an amazing meeting. It was really good.
Okay, so speaking about the team, give us a background on who you are
Mhm.
and what it is that you do as it relates to the film world, cinematography, and the like. Talk to me.
Awesome. So I've been in the videography or filmmaking game for about 10 years now, a decade. Um, I started out doing music videos, short films, movies. I actually started previous to all that. I actually started out as a writer. I've been writing all my life, probably since I was 8 years old. Now I'm more into the marketing and branding aspect of like helping businesses. And then on the other side, I'm still writing and filming and producing movies from scratch. And so that's what I'm up to. That's what I'm doing. If anybody has a business and they need help with growing their company online, then I can help them with getting their content right, getting their marketing right, getting their branding right, changing the way that they present themselves to, potential clients online. And then, I got them fire movies coming out too.
All right, speaking of them movies, let's get into it because you have an independent film that you just released
Uh-huh.
that we were talking about. Give me the name of that film, man, and where you because I don't know have you locked in the distribution side of where you're going to be placing it? Talk to us.
So the movie is called Revolution. It's about three friends who decide to kill a white officer because he killed the young black boy the year before. And then I should also showcase that officer's life, that he wasn't a racist. It was a mistake. And kind of like, it shows both sides of the argument about police brutality, whether all cops are bad or whether, um, black people, feel justified with how they feel about officers. So I think it's a great movie to present conversation. That's what I want to do with this movie, to present conversation. A lot of times what I dealt with growing up is, one-sided opinions. And I always wanted to be a conduit for just creating films that create conversation and provides different perspectives. With the movie distribution wise, what we're doing is we are touring this movie first, right? Because one of the things I always wanted to know when it came to movie production was, how did people make money off films independently, right?
Okay.
If people don't if people don't have a budget to actually get into like movie theaters and stuff like that, how is it possible? And so I found my answer a couple years ago where I rented out my own theater and I was able to sell out the theater, getting over 300 people uh, to the theater in Miami, Florida. And so that gave me a blueprint of how independent filmmakers can start making their own money from their films. Because most people, when they make a movie, the first thing they think about is film festivals, putting it on platforms like Amazon Prime and Tubi, which are cool. I think those are great resources as well. But I'm more interested in growing my own audience, cultivating that audience, and pushing that traffic to my own platforms so that they
Okay.
can continue to be entertained. So once we finish touring the movie, we do plan on putting it on some of these distribution sites and networks as well.
Okay. So since you're taking the, I would consider that the direct to consumer route,
Correct.
and so obviously you have some venues or theaters that you want to premiere your independent film revolution in. Are you going to do this regional and stick in Atlanta, or are you going to move around with it? What's the game plan in terms of getting it what I would consider across the nation and into some good spaces?
Well, since I'm from Miami, Florida, a lot of my audience is in Miami, Florida.
Okay.
Um, I do have audience in other places, but for the most part, majority of people who are fans of what I do, they're in Miami, Florida. So of course, it makes sense to start there and then travel up from there. My game plan, the way I'm marketing this movie is actually unique because, as far as I know, um, it hasn't been done before. So
Okay.
one aspect of how I'm putting the movie out is called something I'm creating called a virtual premiere party. And so, what a virtual premiere party is, I used to buy a lot of courses and coaching programs and stuff like that from top marketers and business owners. And I would pay attention to how they would create these virtual events and how they would have thousands of people who would come into these virtual events. They're learning all together, they're commenting all together. And and they have something that a lot of people haven't heard of called like 5-day challenges, right? So let's say if you had a business where you wanted to learn how to create a better offer, there's internet marketers out there who will create something called a 5-day challenge, where each day they'll teach you something new about creating a good offer that brings more clients to your business, right? At a premium price. And so I love that concept, and I wanted to marry that with distributing a movie. So the
Okay.
goal is to create an online event where people can pay tickets to not only see the movie, but one, hear the story of how the movie was created, get to talk to the actors, ask questions to the actors, actually get to meet the cast and crew live, after they enjoy the movie. And my whole purpose with that is because I want people to have a connection with us, not just the movie, right? I want them to want to know, well, what else do you guys got going on? What other projects do you guys got going on? So that's one way that I plan on marketing the movie. Then taking the revenue from these virtual parties and actually being able to invest back into the marketing of the movie with running ads and things like that on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube, to actually get more people interested in the virtual parties. And then we also want to do a theater run as well, but we want people to um, look at the theater run as like, this is the big shebang, right?
Right.
So that's pretty much like this unique thing that I'm doing with marketing this movie. It's why I like it is because it's something that hasn't been done, as far as I know, and it's something that I know will, if when it's successful, it'll create a wave of people who are trying to open the door and market their movies the same way.
Gotcha. And that is ingenious. Because I haven't heard that methodology, and I know you'll make it work.
Thank you.
So taking all of that in consideration and knowing a little bit of a background about what's going on with you and cinematography, you've also been tasked with the filming of the documentary of Keith Wallace, Keith
Yeah.
Wallace 305 on Instagram. Make sure you follow him www.keithwallace.org. So give me a little bit of background on that, how you met Keith, because you guys are from the same area.
Yeah.
You were running together, and how did you get involved with, hey man, let's get this down on film because this is an important message that you're pushing out. Talk to me about that.
Well, so when I was in when I was in Miami, Florida, I didn't know Keith at first, never heard of him in the beginning, and I was just focusing on my short films and movies, and it was building a buzz in the city. And so a lot of people would reach out to Keith and they would say, hey, you need to get connected to this brother Deeds. You need to meet this brother Deeds. Like they kept on a lot of his posts and stuff like that, kept referring him to me, to like
Okay.
help him with shooting his projects and working with me with movies and things like that. And so one day we finally did actually speak. So because I didn't know people were referring me to him at all. And we
Okay.
finally spoke one day, and we got really cool. And he asked me to film one of his music videos, and I think that music video has gotten over hundreds of thousands of views online. And so one of
Was
the
that
things
War Cry?
that
Was that the War Cry video?
no, I didn't. I came after War Cry. It was with what is the name of that song? The song where it showed the girl getting molested and the
Oh,
young
that's
boy.
one of the recent, man. That video
Yeah,
fire now.
yeah,
Oh
yeah.
yeah, that's yeah.
That's the
Okay,
first
okay,
project that we worked together on. And so
gotcha.
when it came to the documentary, I think opportunity came across Keith's uh, table where someone offered to create a documentary for him. I don't want to say the name or whatever, but and he reached out to me and said, I want to create the documentary with you. And I have a lot of experience with creating documentaries, and so I'm excited to do it. My thing is he has a powerful story that needs to be told. What I like about his story is a lot of people can just learn from it. That's the main thing. We need to start uplifting African Americans who have a story that can uplift other African Americans. Especially from the areas that me and Keith is from. They need to
Right.
see a different side of life than the current things we currently see.
Okay. Now talk to me about this dream team that has been pulled together
Hmm.
as it relates to the 2025 rollout with Keith. His products from the beard oil to the skincare
Hmm.
to the tour, as well as merchandise like clothing. Give me a little bit of background about what you pulled from the meeting over the weekend, the strategic planning meeting over the weekend.
I think the meeting was very genius was because when it comes to artists, like I've worked with a lot of artists before I moved into working with businesses on the marketing side. Um, Artists struggle with finding ways to grow financially. They struggle with finding ways to make money from their movies. They struggle with providing products and honestly, in my opinion, it's one of the hardest fields to be successful in financially, in my
Okay.
opinion, right? And
Hmm.
so why I love the meeting is because not only does Keith now have a team that came up with a great game plan for him, um, having products, right? And not just any product, having products that is tailored directly to his audience, I think is a genius way for him to start growing. And just the things that we're doing with creating him a book, creating him a documentary, creating different content for him now, upgrading his content. I think all of these things will ensure that he's a even bigger artist than he's already is, and will allow him to start growing his fan base with even more people. So that meeting was genius. We brought together some of the greatest minds that I've honestly seen, and so I'm excited to see what we're going to pull off next one.
Good stuff. And that's a big shout out to our sister Regina,
For
who's
sure.
spearheading all of this stuff.
Yeah.
And really taking the bull by the horns and making sure that we're time on task and things are getting done, respectively. So I can see within the next 3 to 6 months, a lot of progressive things coming out of the camp, and I'm excited. I'm really excited. Um, so I know I caught you on an impromptu because you wasn't expecting this.
I
You
was.
wasn't
You ain't let
expecting
me
this.
get set up. I got a
No,
little
no.
setup in my office too. You ain't let me get my office set up. Nothing.
That's the thing. We gonna run it back. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna run it back. So the next time, you know what I mean, you'll be set up in the office, everything good, you know what I'm saying?
All right.
Lights,
I'm gonna
so we
hold you
do the
to it.
lights, camera, action. But I did want to jump on here and give and get some content from you to give the audience because I'm quick with it. You know what I'm saying? With my
Right.
edits, with my breakdown, with everything. You know what I'm saying? I not quick as in just being negatively productive because you can do that too. You can rush through stuff and it not be right. I just know that I wanted to hit it while it was hot.
Yeah, for
I
sure.
wanted to put something in their face so they could be like, "Oh man, okay, I can feel it coming." So I want to sit there and have an opportunity to schedule time with each one of the team members and go live, get some good recorded content, and talk about what it is that we're endeavoring to do,
Yeah, for sure.
as we move forward, so that we can take this content, chop it down into segments, repurpose it, and just like what you just gave in terms of your breakdown of how you're trying to do it. The name of this talk show is Industry Talk, and I
Love
talk with my friends and affiliates and different individuals about the ups and downs of the industry and what they've gone through. And
it.
you dropped some jewels, D's, whether you realize it or not. You just gave a true rundown on a way or a methodology to get your independent film out to the masses, and it doesn't take a lot. Now, 300 people in the room watching a film, that's a lot.
Yeah.
For first premiere, that's a lot of people in the room. But then once you start recycling that methodology and expanding with it, it just continues to grow. So now you're taking your market share and it's 100% coming into you.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
awesome.
I really wanted to. I always wanted to create a way, um, not only for myself to be successful financially, but also people that are a part of the projects that I'm endeavoring on film wise. And you guys from the team, you guys are the same way with what you guys are doing in your personal endeavors. But yeah, I love marketing, man. Like I'm talking about I eat, sleep, and breathe it. So, on the often I'm always thinking about how can I do something great, but not just for myself. I always want to take the game that I'm using for myself and give it to other people so they can prosper as well. It's a lot of information that I learned from marketing that I paid thousands of dollars for because I didn't have people around me who knew things. And so I
Right.
would pay for it, right? They say the
Right.
game is meant to be sold, not told, whatever. I'll
Hmm.
pay for it if I got to pay
Right.
for it to get in those rings. But then that
Yeah.
information that I paid for, I would give it away because there's a lot of entrepreneurs out there who struggle with knowing how to do anything to make to grow themselves to 6 figures and beyond.
Right. That's right. And that, my friend, is what makes you special, unlike any other, because you took the time to go get the education, you paid for your education, and now in the same breath, you're turning around and blessing the next man or woman who is actually in seek of the same knowledge, the
Mhm.
same opportunity because they're in that field, they're in that space, and don't know or don't have a direction of where to go or how to get there. And whether you realize it or not, Deems, um, your story, your journey, the things that you're doing in the space and in your vertical needs to be told. Outside of, okay, well, I got the movies out there and those speak for themselves. Your independent films speak for themselves. I get that. But they don't know the man behind the
Yeah, for sure.
film,
Yeah.
you see. So, and a lot of people may, sit there and look at me like I'm crazy, but I appreciate the the methodology and approach that a Tyler Perry has taken, right?
Hmm.
Because normally you would know the director, you wouldn't know the individual, you wouldn't know the executive producer, but he put himself into a position to where he's infused himself into his movies. He's a
Yes.
part of the entire branding strategy and marketing strategy, and he can speak directly to the people about every aspect of the business because he's done it, from
Yes.
taking out the trash to getting coffee to whatever the case may be. He worked his way up the ladder to the point where it's like, hey man, I now own, I have ownership of everything, and there's nothing that you can tell me as it relates to how to get this shit done because
Yeah.
I've done it.
Yes. I
I've walked
and
through it step by step.
big shout out to Tyler Perry for everything he's accomplished. He's man, he's somebody that has inspired me in this generation, regardless
Okay.
of the things that people have said about him or his films. To me, he is the beacon of light that a lot of people and as far as how to grow business wise. You know, even if you're not a
Right.
filmmaker, you still can learn a lot from Tyler Perry's story and just the hard work and triumph. And so I'm big on that, man. Um I love to see people do the work to grow and take the hits and the hardships and take that stuff back and show people, you know, how they did it and how they can do it as well.
That's right. Now I only asked you for 5 to 10. We done gone into 20. I'm about
Mhm.
to get you off this thing right quick, and I want to extend an invite to get you to come back because I normally go into background, your life, where you came from, where you went to high school, who your peoples are,
Yeah.
all of that. I want to do a deep dive
I got a
into.
story for you, brother. So come go ahead and get me back on.
Yes, we definitely gonna schedule that during our regular viewing hours, and I tell you what happened, man. Because I'm just that type of nigga, man. I'm just honest about the shit that I do, and I'm transparent.
Yeah.
I have an interview. Industry Talk jumps off every Wednesday, 4:30 Central Standard Time, right? Now I've been so busy because you know what my schedule was because I was
Yeah,
out
for
in
sure.
Atlanta, ripping, running. I was supposed to make some connections. I hooked up with some of my people, Tone the Goat, William Mega Dickey. I was supposed to link with my brother Big Gip, but I didn't. I ran short on time,
Yeah.
and he had to come to Mississippi down to the Gulf Coast for a concert. So we missed each other on that, and then I got back home back to company business, try to get some editing done, to get a portion of a product out for visual sake, and promo about what we got coming up for 2025 with Keith. And
Working hard.
man, look, I thought today was Wednesday. These, bro, I called my interviewee, and I'm like, "Hey, you ready to go? I'm about to send you this link. We about to jump this thing off." Man, she said, "I thought it was Wednesday." I said, "It is Wednesday. What you talking about?" She said,
Oh
"I know,
man.
G. It's Tuesday." I said, "Tuesday? When I'm in this damn studio."
Hey, hey, we're gonna get you a personal assistant, man. That's what's up.
Oh man, look, but big shout out. Look, no, yeah, I get a person. I got one, Stephanie Michelle, man, out there in Dallas, Texas, man. My girl, man, she be helping me out on some of that stuff.
Yeah.
Um, all the way in charge with some of the things in terms of keeping the calendar and stuff going for me.
Yeah.
And but she knew I was ripping and running, and of course I should have known that because she ain't calling, but like Wednesday's up. It's Tuesday. She ain't gonna call me.
Right, right, right.
But it's all good, man. But before I let you get off this thing, I gotta ask you this question. I
Okay.
need to know in the film world, or since you're a branding strategist, branding, marketing, promotion, either or, I need your top three influencers, dead or alive. They could be execs, they could be film creators, they can be directors, whoever the case may be, who influenced Deeds to jump into the space and excel in it at the degree that you are.
Okay, I'm gonna give you two from the film world.
Okay.
Uh, of course, we got John Singleton. John
Now,
Singleton
Singleton.
was a great influence on me growing up from all the movies that he's produced. Um,
Okay.
of course, Tyler Perry's a big influence on me, especially just from an independent standpoint.
Good stuff.
Now I'm gonna go in a different direction, influencer wise. One of my favorite influencers of all time is Russell Brunson. Most people don't know who he is in certain spaces,
Gotcha.
but he is one of
Gotcha.
the top internet marketers in the world. Um,
Okay.
Second would be Myron Golden. Myron Golden is also one of the top uh, influencers in the world. And then, how many is that so far? That's four.
That's
And
four.
my last favorite influencer, none of this was in order, by the way. I can't number them from 1 to 5. But my last influencer is me. I think, and I'm not saying that from an arrogant standpoint. I'm saying that
No,
from,
I get it. I get it.
I, I feel like uh, once I open the doors for myself, I am going to be one of the most impactful entrepreneurs out there in the world. So I say
Okay.
me is the fifth for sure.
Good deal. Now, yes, you definitely beat to your own drum because I only asked for three and you gave me five. So that's
Woo!
definitely cool.
I
But
thought you asked me for five. I don't know why.
no,
Well,
I
I
just
gave
asked,
you a
I just asked
bonus,
for
brother.
three.
Gave you a
No,
bonus.
I appreciate the bonus. I appreciate the bonus. But one of them, you done jug me in the heart
Which one?
and turn that thing. You done jug me in the heart and turn that thing. John Singleton. Let me give you a story. Now you know the background. You know the background. You know who my peoples are. You know my family and the whole 9 yards. So Freeway Ricky Ross is my guy, right? That's my partner. That's my business partner, my friend. You know that John Singleton stole his story. And that's where Snowfall came out of. And at the same time, we're gonna have to sit, and I'm not knocking it because John Singleton's that guy. He's that guy. He's that guy. But if you go back through some of the history and you see when Rick was about to get out and he and John were good friends,
Yeah,
he took his book, sat down with the studios, and the studios wanted to run with
I heard
Rick's
about that though.
story.
I did
Huh?
hear. No, I said I did
Yeah,
hear
yeah,
about
yeah.
it.
So at the same time, I don't hold Singleton at fault. God, may he rest in peace. But at the same time, the studios didn't want to have Rick as a consultant or play any parts of what was going on. And so, there wasn't much that John Singleton could do, right?
Mhm.
But they went forward with the story, and it kind of they made it Hollywood. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
of course, of
You
course.
got niggas in the goddamn ghetto with tigers and shit. You know what I'm saying? So
But when you think about it, when you watch movies, man, it's very hard to find any movies that's true to the actual story from beginning
right.
to
That's right.
end.
That's right. I
I,
agree.
I I think Rick Ross has one of the most remarkable stories um, out there,
Hmm.
and he
Yeah.
deserves his flowers. I appreciate everything that he's doing to give back to the community
Right. That's
from
right. That's right.
knowledge.
And he's working hard at it. He's working hard and diligent at it. But when you say remarkable stories, let me just give you this right quick because you're a film creator. So you can ingest what I'm saying, comprehend it, and see it visually, and then can understand the panorama of what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? There aren't any, and let me just I'm going on the record to say this. There aren't any individuals that live the type of life that Freddie Ricky Ross lived.
Mm,
Okay. And what he had gone through and the conspiracy that he had gone through and are still alive.
mm,
Let's touch that part of it first. And I'm not talking about dead because of prison or shot in the street. No, it was a government conspiracy that reigned from the top. Ronald Reagan, John Poindexter was the head of the NSA, Oliver North, who was the Black Ops operator, Marine Corps, um, gunnery sergeant, whoever he was at the time, who was working with the CIA, that orchestrated everything from the top down because they needed to fund that war in South America,
mm-hmm,
right? They laid down in bed with the devil, and that was the results that they got. But at the same time, none of them took the fall.
mm.
Free Ricky Ross took the fall. There's a lot of drugs being pumped into the system that were coming out of Mena, Arkansas. You remember who was the governor of Mena of Arkansas at the time?
No.
Billy Clinton. Come on, let's get it right. So that's how he won his progression into being elevated to one of those highest seats of the country. But that's a whole different story. I'm not trying to get into that. What
No,
I am saying is there are no infamous individuals that touched it at that level and had a government conspiracy intertwined, and it comes out, and that individual is still alive. Gary Webb took 2 bullets to the head. They said it was suicide. Now, you tell me how you take 2 bullets to the head and you committed suicide.
Right.
Okay, so Rick Ross is still walking, living, breathing, and telling his story about what he's gone through in his life. So yes, it is impactful. John Singleton had an opportunity to really put that story on the main stage, but the studios decided to take it. And they made a lot of money with Snowfall and try to, carve out the little intricacies of what they wanted to show the public, but it was all blown out and distorted. Now, there again, was Chico and Rick and the rest of the Freeway Boys, were they really those guys in the street at the time? Yes. I'm not saying no. If you're moving that kind of dope at that level, yeah, you got artillery, you got all the shit, you know what I'm saying? You're not playing no fucking games. But now on the other side of it, it still has to be realistic.
Yeah.
You see what I mean? Because Rick wasn't one to be out in the streets shooting up shit and fucking up the community. No, he knew that you had to sit there and keep it cool or she was about to lose money.
Right.
But when it's time to get right, you go out there and you do what you got to do. But that was, few and far between. You see, so that's why I say, man, you show me a story of a kingpin that is more exotic and more eccentric as what Fred Ricky Ross went through. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I'll wait. Because you got a Bumpy Johnson. You go down the laundry list. They don't hit that level or that magnitude of, stardom, name, notoriety, and even the conspiracy that it's all wrapped up into. But that's just my personal affinity and feeling because I deal with Rick on a regular basis. Yeah.
Love it, man. Man, tell Rick get together and let's make our own version, man.
Oh yeah, we can, and that's not a problem. But the crazy thing is, the rights to the movies have been sold on that behalf, but it's not like we can't get into where he's at present day, and we've been talking about some of those things. And of course, it always touches, some of the past, where he's come from and where he's at present day. That's a whole different type of a movie because he's look, #1 bestseller. With the untold autobiography of his life for Ricky Ross, 21 Keys of Success, another great book that he has out right now, and he's touring on a regular and consistent basis, state to state, for motivational talks, inspirational talks, prison reform, literacy, financial literacy, you name it. He's involved with it because he knows that okay, what he did in his past is not reflective of what he's going to do in his future and the direction he's going to try to amend some of the things that he knows that he was a part of and privy to back in the day. Uh-oh, I done lost you. I done lost my man Deeds. It's all good. You've been locked into another great episode of Primetime Pod. Major salute to our guest. And remember, ain't no time like primetime. This is your main man, Big G, with Industry Talk. And remember to like, share, and subscribe to our network, Primetime Pod. And as always, beautiful people, it's about health, wealth, and wellness.
Primetime Pod. Make sure you check it out.
Child, why the fuck you think he missing? He say that.
Centerville's a whole lot.
Now, I'm not trying to get a little messy with you.
Time is money.
They go trap.